apprenticed under Ansel Adams, but his signature style evolved through high-speed film sequences of the greats and the not-so-greats of the game.
Dudley Winesong, who's ever heard of him? Let's find Nicholas here, somebody. Okay, this is a high-speed Hoshner camera, which really was used in military purposes to even show bullets striking something. But Chuck actually took it and adopted it where he could use it in the golf sequence business. And he started doing this back in the 50s, which is unheard of.
The rare images are on sale through the historic golf catalogs and website, with all the proceeds directed to the newly chartered Florida Golf Hall of Fame.
None of the money will ever go in our pockets. It'll always go to fund the Golf Museum in Orlando.
More than a century of golf history still in development.
This collection is so vast, Ronnie Watts has been able to catalog only 2% of the prints. There are certain to be hundreds of unseen gems buried in there somewhere. Coming up, Florida Governor Jeb Bush spends a rare, relaxing morning with Golf Portfolio's Harry Hurt and tells us why golf is good for business and good for Florida. His state has more than 1,200 golf courses. At least 1 million of his constituents play the game, and thousands live with a green or fairway in their backyard. So Governor Jeb Bush knows the value of golf for Florida. In this week's leaderboard, the governor tells Harry Hurt why the game means so much.
Jeb Bush has 3 dominant strands of DNA in his genes: politics, business, and golf. Which one is most fun? Why, golf, of course.
It's about the only thing I have other than just being with my wife, which I enjoy a lot too, but those 2 things are the 2 releases I have. The rest of the time I'm really focused on my job.
As governor of a state with more than 1,200 courses, a big part of his job is promoting Florida's status as the country's golf capital, and he fully understands the impact of the game on Florida's economy.
Our housing starts are up significantly this year over last, and a lot of the reason why we have a stable economy is people come to retire here or semi-retire here, and they like to live in a place where there's a beautiful golf course. So it's actually more than just a place for recreation. It's an economic development tool for us to provide stability during tougher times, and it's helped us a lot.
And he has no fear that his image as an avid golfer may be a political handicap.
The stereotype is that it hurts, but heck, I'm governor of Florida. You know, I don't see how it hurts.
Nor did it back in his private sector days when Jeb used golf to help build his real estate firm into the largest commercial developer in South Florida. He was constantly reminded of the sport's universal appeal.
In the real estate business, in the early 90s and late 80s, we had developed a lot of relationships with some Asian companies that were interested in doing joint ventures and the like, and playing golf with them was critical. The culture was to develop the personal bonds first before business could be done.
And it's no different as the governor pursues his family's other business, politics. Facing an election next year, Jeb doesn't pass up the opportunity to do a little campaigning before we tee it up.
Golf's a competitive business, a competitive sport. Politics is maybe more competitive, and it'll be a big deal, this race, and they've already started, you know, going after me. But it's a great job, so I can see why people would do it.
As much as he enjoys being governor, Jeb says he has no ambition to follow his father and brother into the White House. But he has no reluctance handicapping them as politicians and golfers.
Obviously, my brother's a pretty good politician. He became president, and so is my dad. It's the only family in America I know where you have to name the people by numbers. So we call my dad 41 and my brother 43, so as not to confuse them, given their tenures as president. But my dad's the greatest man I know.
Well, so we call him maybe a +4.
There you go.
And George, I guess we got to say scratch, huh?
Absolutely.
So and you got to be single digits.
I'm still at 12.
You're still at 12, huh?
I shot a 74 once, and it was like going to heaven on earth. And I've shot, I've come close to 3 digits recently too, so somewhere in there is the range.
It still makes him the best golfer in a legendary golfing family. His great-grandfather, Herbert Walker, was president of the USGA and founder of the Walker Cup. His grandfather, Senator Prescott Bush, was also a USGA president. His father is the nation's leading proponent of speedy play, a gene directly inherited by son Jeb.
If I had a magic wand, it would be to get everybody to play faster. I think life would be a lot better if it was that way.
If you could pass some legislation here in Florida to limit rounds to 4 hours or less.
I think I could become reelected with that platform.
Jeb didn't show any signs of slowing down when we headed out to the 16th hole at Deering Bay Yacht and Country Club in Coral Gables.
What do you usually play from, Bill?
I play from there.
All right, well, let's do what you usually
I don't normally
do.
play with a camera looking at me, though.
I reminded Jeb that I don't normally play with a security detail looking at me. Unfazed, he opened with a crisply struck 7-iron.
Wow, that's pretty good there, Governor.
But I was ready to give the governor the needle after he smacked his first putt several feet past the hole.
Well, I don't know. Let's see here. I think that might be a little outside the leather.
My dad has one of those putters, the long ones.
It's
good for these
leather.
kind of.
That would be in his leather.
Well, when he was president, these were always good.
Yeah.
But now that he's not, everybody makes him putt them.
Well, you said you didn't want to run for president, so you're going to have to putt that.
That's right.
Look at that. Nice par. Well done.
Thank you.
On the next hole, Jeb revealed he had a special home course advantage. His old real estate firm had been the original developer of Deering Bay.
Those condominiums?
Yeah, those are yours there.
Those were the ones we built.
I tried to rattle him again by remarking on the fact that he hits full shots right-handed but putts lefty.
Switch hitter.
Cross-handed, left-handed.
Do you write left-handed or?
No. I played baseball left-handed, Little League Baseball, Post Oak National League. And then it's a backhand in tennis.
My ploy didn't work.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Get in.
And neither did my own putting stroke.
Look at that, got airborne.
That's in.
Oh, yeah. I heard your heart going there.
But on the third hole, some voters caught Jeb's eye, and he lost his concentration.
Are you ready? A lot of distractions here, but we can do this.
Jeb started losing his form and making politically incorrect excuses.
Golf is not a tall person's game.
I see.
Too many body parts that move too many times when you're 6'4". You think I can sell that?
I'm not sure. You're gonna have to do a lot of lobbying to sell that one.
Here we go.
At the end of the day, Jeb showed the Bush family sportsmanship.
All right, you took me on this one.
Well, that evened it up. I guess we'll have to have a playoff for this.
Thanks. All the business stuff is secondary to just friendship and stress relief. So this is a way for me to relax.
Coming up on Golf Portfolio, for Bill Powell, getting a rematch wasn't an issue. He couldn't find a place to play at all until he built a course of his own. Meet the man who has become a golf legend in his hometown and beyond. Coming up next. For most golfers, the obstacles to playing well are sand traps and long irons. But for one Ohio man, they were prejudice and ignorance. Scott Newell shows us how a never-give-up attitude became the key to building one of America's historic golf courses.
Turn at the sign that says Clearview, and you'll probably see Bill Powell on his dream golf course.
This is the kind of type of course that a beginner can play and a very low handicap golfer can play and enjoy it.
Bill knows every fairway slope, every tree branch, every green. That's because Bill Powell built Clearview, literally from the ground up, giving deeply of himself.
He made a lot of sacrifices on his physical body because he spent a lot of hours doing a lot of labor on the golf course, and which certainly was not good from a health and a physical standpoint.
For Bill, the road to building this club wasn't nearly as easy as the long one that leads to the clubhouse. By the time he was 22, Bill was already passionate about golf. In the Army during World War II, Bill played on English courses, but was stunned when he returned to the United States to find few clubs wanted blacks to play.
The attitude of people, when you're treated real nice, welcome on foreign soil, and you're welcome and on different courses, and just very distasteful for me.
So Bill Powell decided to forge his own course. Back in 1946, this was nothing but 78 acres of dairy farm, with this stream ambling through these gently rolling hills. But Bill Powell saw this as something completely different. He envisioned a green just about over there.
You see a plot of land that you think would be great to develop as a golf course, but then how are you going to buy it? How are you going to pay for it? So that was one of his #1 challenges.
Bill borrowed the money from a couple of his golf students. Then, between working nights as a security guard, he began to make his dream a reality.
I was working 16 to 18 hours a day on the course, work on my job, come work on the course. Couldn't wait till daylight came so I could get out, work on the course.
Bill designed Clearview himself, using the terrain as a painter would use a canvas.
And you visualize a golf course, and as soon as you see the land, instantly you know what you can do with it.
He modeled it after the British courses he had seen during the war.
What he did was used all the natural elements that were here, and there's a stream that runs all through the golf course, and he built the course around that, and the landing areas, he put in certain places, and the direction that the holes run, and everything, the way the trees are, and the boundaries, and so, and the whole terrain, the hills. And he used all that. It's all such a very natural golf course.
Now, more than a half-century later, Clearview stands as the first public course to be designed, built, and owned by an African American. The family has all pitched in to make Clearview a success. Son Larry maintains the grounds when he's not doing the books.
Looks as though that you really spend a lot of time trying to perfect it.
Daughter Renee, herself a pioneer on the LPGA Tour, now enjoys her role as Clearview's pro. She takes time to get to know nearly everyone who visits. It's a family affair.
Everybody in the family has subsidized this golf course to make it last, and they've sacrificed their jobs.
Clearview is now a home to many golfers around East Canton, Ohio, about an hour's drive southeast of Cleveland. Young and old appreciate Bill Powell's mission to make a course where everyone is welcome to play. They like the family touch.
It's not the big city where people are just like, yeah, you're here, nobody really cares. I mean, these people actually, some of them actually know our names.
Cliff Fennell grew up thinking he could never afford to play golf.
Since it's right here in the heart of the community, and I've been made aware that it isn't as expensive as I thought, and you just basically give a call or come in and you can get right on the course. And that means a lot.
And many know what it took to put it all together.
I have nothing but praise and admiration for Bill Powell and his family that backed him up. They've got a good thing going.
The Powell's achievement has earned Clearview the distinction of being a national landmark. Just recently, it was dedicated one of Ohio's historical places as part of the state's upcoming bicentennial celebration.
What are you most proud of this golf course?
Everything. I'm proud of everything about the golf course. I'm proud that it has survived over a half century under adverse conditions, adverse climate, adverse attitudes.
Nearly 85 years old, Bill is still out there working on putting in a new green. He knows that all this hard work has paid off and will for generations of future golfers.
I've always felt that golf was a particular sport. It should not be sandlot. There's certain things golf requires you to do, and hope this course will carry on. The dignity of a sport.